What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, my name is King and we're about to go over some more Monster Hunter information. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to leave a like, as making these videos takes a lot of time and effort. Just recently, Monster Hunter's Twitter page released some information on the light bowgun, heavy bowgun, sword and shield, and the hammer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the move list and also the Silkbind attacks that are going along with those weapons. Along with some of the gameplay that you're going to see today, we're also going to see some familiar monsters. Let's get into it. First things first, we're going to be taking a look at the hammer. If you're unfamiliar with Monster Hunter, this is the best weapon to KO monsters. This weapon is great for anyone who wants to focus on doing raw damage. It has great damage and great mobility, so chasing the monster around won't be too difficult. Let's take a look at the first Silkbind attack for the hammer. This one is called the Silkbind Spinning Bludgeon. If you've played Monster Hunter World, you've definitely seen this before. The startup time on this attack is very good. It looks incredibly quick. This next Silkbind attack is called Impact Crater. I'm assuming this move has very high damage. The first Silkbind attack looks like it focuses on building up KO damage, whereas Impact Crater may be focused on just doing straight damage. Also, as you may have already noticed, Anjanath is back in the game. That's pretty much it for the hammer, so let's move on to the heavy bowgun. Because this is a heavy weapon, the mobility options of this weapon will be limited. However, what it lacks in mobility, it makes up for in power. I'm sure the team that worked on Monster Hunter Rise knew this well, as they gave it a new Silkbind skill, which helps with mobility. I believe using Valor mode with heavy bowgun in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate allowed you to do a quick dash, which this looks really similar to. I think keeping this mobility option in the game was a good idea, as it encourages new players to get the weapon and start using it, and they won't shy away from it just because it's a heavy weapon. Now we're going to be taking a look at the next Silkbind attack. This move is called Countershot. My initial impression from this move was that it can only be used against projectiles, but fortunately it can be used against physical attacks as well. Normally I don't use long range weapons, but seeing this makes me rethink that. Now we're going to move on to the next weapon, the light bowgun. It offers more mobility than the heavy bowgun at the cost of power. Since ranged weapon users have lower defense than melee weapon users, you're going to want to be able to move in and out of battle pretty quickly, and that's exactly what the light bowgun offers. Let's take a look at the first Silkbind attack, called the Silkbind Glide. From what I'm seeing, this move looks like it allows you to move closer to the enemy and attack at the same time. The attack that's performed is also a severing attack, so if you want to cut a tail with a light bowgun, now you can. This move can also be used for evasion. I'm a big fan of flashy moves, so this next Silkbind attack really caught my attention. This move is called the Fanning Vault. I'm sure if you time this move properly, you could also use this for evasion. This weapon showcase also confirms Tobi Kadachi is back in the game. That's all the gameplay that we have for the light bowgun, so let's move on to the next weapon, the sword and shield. The sword and shield is arguably one of the best weapons to start off with as a beginner. Very simple and easy to use, and even has a shield whenever you get put in tough situations. Even though this weapon is great for beginners, in the right hands, it can be a devastating weapon. This weapon is very versatile and has tons of options. One of the options is the Silkbind attack, Falling Shadow. This is very similar to the longsword Silkbind attack, Soaring Kick. The ending attack, however, does blunt damage instead of cut damage. Moving on, we're going to take a look at the next Silkbind attack, called Windmill. This attack does cut damage and it looks like it covers a pretty wide area. I can see this being very useful if you wanted to cut off a tail. Once again, as you have already seen, Kulu Yaku is back in the game. I really hope you enjoyed the video. and also hope that you found a weapon that you're going to start off with in Monster Hunter Rise. If you'll be looking for more Monster Hunter Rise info in the future, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Have a good one, and take care.